Now, let's compare this result with what is offered in our civilization. For the most part, there is a huge choice of options that you have to sort through and try out in order to choose which one works, of course, if your lifetime will be enough. However, it often happens that a lifetime is not enough to do this. Trying out such so-called life recipes leads to that a person simply lets things go hang, postpones solving his task or problem until better times, or declares unsolvable. Meanwhile, the recipe to solve the problem exists in the proto-language, which was lost for many centuries. Perhaps it should be noted right away that here we are discussing solving problems and not utopian remaking of this world to how one wants it. The difference between the former and the latter was perfectly demonstrated by German theologian Friedrich Christoph Oetinger during his time in the well-known statement, "Lord, give me tranquility to accept what I cannot change, give me courage to change what I can, and give me wisdom to distinguish one from another." We hope that the situation with recipes described above is now clear. The same is observed with regard to finding answers to questions that are ordinary for any Homo sapiens and are aimed at trying to understand how this world and we, humans, are arranged. In this case, through philosophers, psychologists, mystics and religious figures, civilization also offers a bunch of options, and again you are left to find the right one. However, the proto-language clearly demonstrates that one and only, and far from subjective meaning of each separate word or a complex concept exists. And that statements that truth is always subjective happen only from lack of knowledge. In reality, there is always only one truth, and it does not in any way depend on anyone's subjective opinions, and it is definitely not formed by them. From our point of view, loss of knowledge about the location of the fount of information about the world and a human, as well as the fount of recipes in the proto-language, has encouraged current civilization to form a world-known system called philosophy, which is designed to give out life recipes and explain complex phenomena. However, as we can see, not a single one of the existing philosophies in the world managed to accomplish this task. Criterion of failure of philosophy: it did not offer and still does not offer universal meanings of complex concepts, but it does offer universalism in life recipes. In essence, everything is exactly the opposite. Instead of having one subtype recipe for each situation for representatives of each of 293 human subtypes, one for all universal schemes are proposed, and instead of one for all universal explanations of complex concepts, there is an innumerable variety of most diverse definitions, which sometimes contradict each other. This is absurd. Note that the basis for cataloging of the human biological type was the discovery of existence of subtypes within this type. This discovery was made by researcher sinologist Andrei Davidov. It turned out that there are 293 subtypes of Homo sapiens. Each of them, using the language of science, is endemic. That is, representatives of one subtype cardinally differ from representatives of any other subtype due to particularities of arrangement and work of psychophysiology, qualities and characteristics, life algorithms, functional range, and abilities. You can learn more about this on our website. From our point of view, situation with the proto-language is cardinally different from the one in current civilization, where there is a whole bunch of most diverse interpretations of every concept and countless solutions to any problem. The latter is not recipes, but rather resembles a notorious method of scientific probing, where the result is not guaranteed. As the saying goes, a shot in the dark. As one of our compatriots, a great thinker and leader of all times and peoples, Vladimir Lenin, correctly noted, there is no abstract truth. Truth is always concrete. We would add to this that there is also no subjective truth. Opinions about truth can be subjective, but the truth itself is always objective. Therefore, from our point of view, the difference between what the modern civilization offers us and what the ancient language, proto-language, offers is enormous, especially for those people who understand that information is the key to the world, both outer and inner. And if someone does not need working recipes, information about true meanings of words in order to understand phenomena or results, that is their own business. As a famous joke goes, seppuku is a private matter of each samurai. So, does this mean that linguists are looking for the proto-language and it is right under their noses? It turned out that yes, and that proto-language is not lost. Fortunately, it was preserved in our civilization, even though it survived only in one country in the world, China. From our point of view, it does not matter whose language is cooler, Russian, English, Chinese, or any other. What is more important is that the proto-language survived, alive and undistorted, passed on from generation to generation in the same form. After all, as it is known, the path of any hieroglyph can be traced back to a petroglyph, a pictogram. Thanks to cultural traditions of the Chinese people, the proto-language was preserved since very remote times and passed through the centuries in unchanged form. Undoubtedly, evolution of the Chinese language is present and today is considerably supplemented by modern meanings of certain words, and this is a natural process. However, note that hieroglyphics did not get changed to letters, despite pressure on China. This is what strong, centuries-old traditions mean. Strictly speaking, the Chinese do not care that their language is difficult for perception, study and use by other people of the world. They stand their ground. And, as it turned out, thank God for that. Plus, and this is quite important, unlike it is in other languages of the world, ancient meanings of hieroglyphs are preserved and still being used in the Chinese language. This is extremely important and valuable because, as we found out, it is the ancient meanings that carry the main essence, the meaning of a phenomenon behind a word. The combination of images in the Chinese language coupled with its 100% preservation thanks to cultural traditions of the Chinese people, which no other nation in the world has, for multiple decades allows to turn to Chinese hieroglyphics as the proto-language, in which true meaning of any word can be found. Although the Chinese themselves seem to have forgotten that images are behind their hieroglyphics and do not perceive their language as the proto-language, these are minor things compared to the value of this finding. From our point of view, the main value of the proto-language is in that it contains recipes for synchronization of systems like human nature and human society, synchronization of natural elements among themselves, as well as synchronization of interaction of 6 factors of psychophysiology of Homo sapiens as universal for all representatives of this biological type. In the Catalogue of Human Population, which is compiled on the basis of decryption of the ancient manuscript Shanhai Jing, all information about a person consists of a general description of an individual and a description of his qualities and functioning on 6 factors. Classification by 6 factors, which are fundamentally different from each other, is a system created by researcher sinologist Andrei Davidov to describe functioning of human subtypes during compilation of the Catalogue of Human Population. Since at a certain point he was faced with a problem, how to structure information obtained from the ancient source about a particular subtype in descriptions of psychophysiological diapason of a subtype. Data obtained from the ancient text contained very diverse information about a human, how representatives of a particular human subtype think, data about their nutritional or environmental diapason, sexual peculiarities, and so on. In fields that are traditionally related to a human, for example, in medicine, no systems were found, according to which it would be possible to distribute information obtained from Shanhai Jing. It was necessary to create a classification which would encompass human life activity in general. To solve this problem, Andrei Davidov identified 6 factors: intellectual, physical, nutritional, emotional, sexual, and environmental. In addition to scientific research, the Special Scientific Info-Analytical Laboratory CHS, in partnership with the Human Population Academy, provide access to informational materials from the Catalogue of Human Population, as well as consultations and education for students. See link to our website in the description to this video. So, for example, a person who turns to us for a consultation is interested in how to tune the work of his intellectual factor, or physical, or sexual, or any other, or how to interact with another individual or a group of people, or how to act in society in order to achieve his goals. The answer to this question, as well as to many others, is available in the proto-language. Clear, specific, concrete, only one, without varieties of interpretations. All that we do in order to get this answer and help our client is work with Chinese hieroglyphics in a certain way, since in the process of analyzing hieroglyphs, freedom, in the form of a flight of imagination, expression of one's own opinion, or arrangement of information provided in a particular hieroglyph are unacceptable. We act only as interpreters, nothing more. We translate the ancient language of images into the modern language. Our long-term research and practical experience in decrypting information from the ancient literary monument Shanhai Jing for compilation of the Catalogue of Human Population confirmed the supposition that within themselves Chinese hieroglyphics really carry true meanings of all words that exist in the world, as well as knowledge that is all-inclusive.